good morning. Is it? No. Yeah, where you are, it might be morning if it's you. But the reason I think I made a mistake saying good morning because I was at the gym tonight, and when I finished, I was doing squats. So when I finished squatting and pulled the weights and put it where they're supposed to go, I ran into the I ran into the part of the bar that was sticking out, and with my head, boom. So my neck is a little bit stiff. I feel it now. I didn't feel it then, but I feel it now. However, I don't think there's any damage, but it was a nice hit. Just kind of put these things down and came to go. I kind of knew that I got to go a little bit further out because the machines are so close to each other, and I just ram right into it. So morning, night, I have no understanding of what is what. And so we have a whopping one person here, which is very delightful and very encouraging. It just makes me feel I really want to have live streams often because it's just a fucking one person here. And I don't know if it's Jaoa from Brazil or is it Stephen. I have a feeling it's Stephen because he's at work and he leaves that channel open and he does his work. However, here we are. Jaoa says, hello, male 19-year-old Brazil. How can I tell if my thoughts, are intrusive or not? I have sexual orientation OCD and I'm confused because my thoughts seem more intentional than intrusive. I've addressed this once before. When you have a thought that is of a nature that is not in line with your preferences, not in line with your values, not about you, what you are, have been, preferred to be as far as your gender is concerned, there will be an awareness of this contradiction. And if there will never be an awareness if there is no contradiction. Contradiction brings awareness. So if you become aware that what is this? That's not good for me. That's not normal for me. For some people maybe, but you question it. I don't identify with this thought. I find it intrusive. That by itself, something that is outside of your values, outside of your principles, outside of your preferences, outside of your standards, expectations, outside of how you know yourself or want to know yourself, how you are, want to be, and have been, that's obviously is not your thoughts. Because human being doesn't make thoughts to hurt himself. And when there is going to be a question or awareness or a kind of puzzled or thinking about it, the fact that you're asking me about it, that means you're not interested with the thoughts that are intrusive, then they show up. And when they do show up, the fact that you notice that they're not the kind of thoughts that you would prefer and that they're not in line with your identity, with your preference, with your values, then that's the end of it. Then you know it's intrusive. But there is a feeling that one would think that I want the intrusive thoughts, or it feels like you made it purposely. Well, in fact, I have a video on that, which you gotta find it and take a look at it. But there is one angle to it that I can explain to you. It's not that you want to make the intrusive thoughts. It's the fact that when an intrusive thought comes in and you deal with it, you data hunt it, you argue with it, you come up with reasons that no, that's not me and it can't be me, and you come up with all these configurations which you shouldn't be, but you do that because you're not trained how to deal with the HOCD. You fall into the trap of following it, trying to prove the brain wrong and trying to argue with it, bring reasons that that's not me, that's not my interest, all that. When you do that and you feel, okay, I had enough discussions and argument, and I feel fine that I've convinced the brain that these are not to my taste, these are not within my values. And once you do that, you feel comfortable, you feel safe. And that comfort, satisfaction, secretes dopamine. And when you do this often, these arguments and trying to convince the brain and all that, you keep getting dopamine. And dopamine is addictive. And after a while, you're addictive to the dopamine. You want to get that feeling, that comfort feeling, that assurance feeling that you get from these arguments. And when the dopamine is secreted, you feel good about it. That is addictive. And therefore, often you think that intrusive thought was yours, or you might actually want to make it, not because you're interested in intrusive thought quality. You're interested because you want to get the dopamine. You're interested in the dopamine. You want to feel that because you're addicted to that comfort, that pleasure of having convinced and accomplished something that you set up. So these are some things that you got to know about it, and then you will feel a little bit more comfortable by knowledge. And Stephen is here, male 42, Los Angeles, says, I'm at work tonight, so I'm at work again tonight, so I will listen to you as I can. Stephen says, my ex texted me this afternoon. I kept the puppy and she said the puppy's birthday is tomorrow. Jesus Christ, this girl is fucking crazy. And if I can get her some toys, say no. I don't think I'll respond. No, don't. Just don't. Don't respond. Don't fall for that fucking trap. These are all plays that gives them satisfaction because they're so low confidence, such pieces of shit, that they get elation and satisfaction and comfort in giving it zing while the dangling in front of the tiger, while they're not willing to let the tiger, So don't give her the satisfaction of responding. And if I were you, I would block the damn thing and get her over with. Look, there is no love lost between you guys or anyone who, with the way she left, would leave in any relationship. If it was me that someone actually ended up being abusive, or a kind of a behavior that was not how she presented herself most often, was talking about different things and ended up being different thing, I would block him. That's it. Done with it. And you don't have to worry about this thing, because look what they do. Just as soon as long enough and you're on your way to deal with this shit, they come into, because they're at their low point of their life, or they didn't get anything better, all the bullshit that they thought they are, it appears to them that they're nothing. Especially that one. She probably woke up and saw, what the fuck, I look like shit. My everything is, I got nothing to offer. And suddenly they now use, I mean, she's crazy. She finished the relationship, and she's not interested in anything about you. She fucking calls 5 months later, or whenever later, talks about a puppy, as if the fucking puppy is actually her child. These are all tricks. And she is actually, if you would, this is really, she's crazy, because the puppy doesn't give a shit that she brings on her birthday. The puppy doesn't know it's a birthday. The puppy doesn't give a fuck that is a toy on his birthday. You give a toy to the dog plays. It's not going to necessarily appreciate the one who brought the toy. Is appreciating the fact that there's a toy in place. the fact that she doesn't understand that, and she thinks it's like some kind of a humanitarian way of extending kindness to a dog, she's a fucked up woman. You want to bring toy? Well, you could have stayed where it was, which lucky you, Stephen, that you didn't have to put up with that shit. And she left. You would bring toy for the dog anytime that it seems to be needed. You know, we buy it, I don't know, every month or every 2 months or every 3 weeks. However, when it's not torn apart and it's still functioning, and you don't. It's not like as if the puppy is a child and understands. Oh, Auntie brought toy for me. Thank you. What is she looking for? What does that mean? It's puppy's birthday. Can I bring toy? Is it a human baby? So she's either tricked up to her sleeve and wants to enjoy some kind of a rubbing it in, or she's, darn right fucked up. Either way, you stay away from that bitch. And that's my professional opinion. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, I hope so too. It's a little bit stiff. But I didn't feel anything as far as, specific thing at that moment or anything. It's just the muscles, they jam up to protect, and I guess that's what must have happened. And now they show the soreness. And I have Mazakarol. Oh, you haven't been around for a while, have you? Says hello, Meran, 36 male Australia here. Thank you for that. And Raj says, hey, Meran. Hello, Rishabh. And Facts of Today says, hey, Meran, your videos were really helpful about my HOCD. Meran, I used to have HOCD, the words in my head whenever it attacked me, but now I'm obsessing over my friend in the form of HOCD. It's annoying. I used to have attacks like whenever I see a male by male, my lizard brain says, what if you are attracted attracted or gay, or etc. I don't care about that, but now I am obsessing over a male instead of those anxiety at all. Yeah, well, it's the same thing, HOCD at work. That's what HOCD is. You obsess about something that is not in your nature. You see the suggestion that you're interested sexually or romantically in someone that is same gender, and you actually know that you're not in reality interested, never been, and not and you're not, and neither you will. You know that, but it's a suggestion of a party that is not you. The problem is that you think the brain is you, so you think it has a way. When the brain actually conjure up something, you give it credibility because it happened to be mounted on your head. It's like maybe, let's say, there is a mall that is very expensive, and everybody knows it's in the very posh part of town. It's a mall. It's a shopping center, and therefore everybody knows that it's a posh shopping center, and it has a reputation of high quality stuff. Now, if some low quality merchant goes and gets or leases a place in that mall, as soon as it introduces its brand, people have this understanding or expectation or illusion or belief of automatically giving it credit or giving it credibility because it is in a mall that the mall has a reputation of being so high end. But the store itself and its merchandise is not. However, it will benefit from that reputation of the mall because it's in that location. Now, same thing. You have credibility in yourself, and you trust yourself, you value yourself, you you know who you are, and you feel you're legit and you're credible. Now your brain is mounted on your head. Because of its location being part of a credible entity, you have given it credibility as if it's a really, a functional and intelligent entity, which in fact brain has no intelligence. There is no intelligent center localized when the neurosurgeons try to localize a, um, a smart center or intelligence center in the brain. There's no such thing. But we have been duped since childhood to think that the brain, because it does math, and the ones who did math were dubbed as smart kids, and the brain is the one that we use to do math, instead of thinking it's an apparatus like a calculator. It's like calling a calculator smart. It's not smart. It's how you use the tool. So you're smart, not the calculator. Here it is. Here's the same. Your awareness is intelligent, but not the brain. But we've been duped since childhood to think because it does math and this and that, we use it to solve things. Therefore, the brain is smart, is the center of smart. There's no such thing. So in that way, you will not have to listen to it or take its suggestions as any credible suggestion. Just like a third person walking in the street and suggest something to you. You want to buy this? You want to make an investment here? Or, can I kiss you or do something with you? These are the suggestions coming from outside of you, and you have no problem dealing with it. Say, oh, fuck off. Or, no, I'm not interested, this and that. But when it comes from your head, you already have this belief, so to speak, acceptance, so to speak, that the brain is intelligent. So it's coming from an credible source. It just happened to be on your head. What about, the other end? It's not so credible. When you fart, you don't say, oh, my fart is actually very valuable. You have no reason to give it any special credibility. You just deal it for what it is. Same thing. These intrusive thoughts are part of the brain, and you got to deal with them, give them, and talk to them as it is, nothing more. Now, having said that, we move on before we get really too much in the anatomy of human being. And Stephen says, okay, I'll take your shoes. Okay, good for you, man. And don't be tempted thinking that, oh, the door is open. Oh, fuck that door. Every time it opens, just shut it up. You don't want that door to be open. All right. Kandrade, okay, whatever. He says, so let me ask you, no, first you tell me where you're tuning in from, your gender, and how old you are. And I'll be more than happy to read your question. Okay, I wait until Kandrade would give us some information about him or herself. So I would know your gender, your age, where you're tuning in from, which country. I could address you properly. And then we have some kind of a understanding here. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of, oh, there it is. Kandrade, I still need your the information that I asked. Yeah, I don't know your name. I mean, not your name, your age. I need to know your age to know if you're old enough to be here, or obviously you are, but I still got to know your age. Steven says, Mehran, where do you buy your tea from? Oh, Whole Foods right across the street. Says, I'm going to start drinking more tea. Yeah, I'm drinking a tea that is called, what is it called? See, the head is hid there. The cat. A dandelion Roasted dandelion roots. That's pretty much what I drink these days. Kandrade says, sorry, my name is Chris. Oh, I didn't need to know your name, but thank you for that. Says, I'm from San Jose and I'm 27 years old. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And so he says, so let me ask you this. If you personally were getting homosexual thoughts yourself, how would you cope with that, with that knowing you aren't gay, but they keep popping up? Well, it's very simple. By knowledge, because when intrusive thoughts popping up and you know you're not what the brain is suggesting of any kind, it's a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, of the brain. Neuroscientists and neurosurgeons and psychologists, psychotherapists have done research over the years, elaborate research, and they all know now that this is a malfunction of the signaling system of the brain. So regardless of they keep popping up a million times, you simply have to help the brain to rewire itself, knowing that this is a malfunction in the brain, that is mechanism that is there to automatically shut down the thoughts, intrusive thoughts that are not in line with your value, is not working. Namely, caudate nucleus, which is in striatum, midbrain, basal ganglia, it's responsible to shut down the intrusive thoughts that it is already known to your awareness that is not in line with your values. But when it doesn't function as it's supposed to, it doesn't shut down the intrusive thoughts. So intrusive thoughts hovers, and you become aware of it longer than it takes for like a second. Say, oh, that was nasty, and then caudate nucleus will shut it down. It's like a lever that shuts down intrusive thoughts. When it doesn't, it's malfunctioning, so it hovers. When it hovers, you think, oh, it didn't disappear, so it must mean something. It doesn't. It just, there's a malfunction in the components of the brain. Then there are ways, the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz, and you learn to help the brain to rewire itself. Now, and there's a lot more to it. I've got many, with this hundreds and hundreds of videos on these. You just go on my search engine and put in HOCD, and you will see the number of the number of videos that show up, and from them you choose. All right. Now he says, because despite knowing one is straight, HOCD can be very convincing and debilitating. Yes, I know, but it has nothing to do with you. Brain is not you. You're not the brain. It's a separate entity. It's an apparatus that was added to us human beings only 40,000 years ago, while we lived for millions of years before we get this brain. All through our lives, before this 40,000 years ago, when we got this sophisticated brain, it developed to the point that we end up having this. We were living like animals, everything instinctively. We would run and hunt and sleep and eat and have sex, and there was no questions, no intrusive thoughts, no OCD. Why? Because all these intrusive thoughts, HOCD, OCD, these are all thought-driven, thought-based. Now, when we didn't have the kind of brain that we have today since 40,000 years ago, we had no ability to think. We had no ability to speak. When you had no ability to think or speak, there was no OCD, there was no intrusive thoughts. But when we got this brain and we had these abilities, then these sort of things start beginning, plus all the discussions that happen around the world, which is not necessarily necessary for everyone to be talking about it. Well, it puts a certain kind of information out there, and the brain receives all this information of all kinds of what's happening in the world. And the brain is a thought manufacturing plant. Its job is to spit up thoughts. It doesn't know what's spitting up, but it simply uses whatever information has seeped through it to its consciousness. It picks up some kind of a material from the consciousness and makes thoughts with it. So making a thought, it depends on all these topics that have entered in the form of information into the brain, and to be able to speak and have ability to think. Thoughts are the roots of all problems. Most psychological difficulties that we have are all thought-based, definitely this one. And your question about that, the convincing that HOCD can be very convincing. Yes, it is. But the fact that your awareness, because you're not the brain, brain is not you, you're the awareness. Awareness is the one that sees the thought showed up, what the brain is doing, and judges the brain's thought if it's useful and uses it, or if it needs to die by the wayside because it has no use for it. It's not in line with its values. So the awareness comes along when there's a suggestion in the brain, shows up. If the suggestion is of your values, you don't have any awareness that there is something showed up that is in conflict with your values. So there's no contradictions. But when there's an awareness, that means there's a contradiction. Awareness is only there when there's a contradiction. And contradiction is what? Between what the brain is suggesting and what you really are. So when there's an awareness, you know that this is not you. If, let's say, a thought of heterosexuality shows up, you don't mind it. It doesn't go anywhere. You don't question, what is this? Why is it here? What does it mean? None of that. It's natural. It's seamless, yeah? But when you become aware of something that is not in line with your values, well, naturally, you know that's not you. So in my case, I was old school. I didn't know the stuff that I know now. I wish I did. It would be much simpler. But for me, I never attributed these to me obnoxious thoughts for my gender as to be meaning anything or suggesting anything or making me feel that I am changing or becoming something, because in my brain was that, oh, this is some kind of a malfunction because it's very annoying, very disgusting to me. So that itself, now again, disgusting to me, but not disgusting to someone who actually enjoys that and is of a different orientation. So it's not to demean anything, because it's neither disgusting nor pleasant for the one who's not interested. It's just something that's the people who are in that inclination, you know, to them is fine. So the word that I use is about how I would have felt then. So all I would think was that, okay, that's not in line with my values. That's something disturbing. And then I wouldn't go any further that it has any meaning because it showed up. It means something about me. None of that. I was just focused on, how can I get this stopped? Because it must be a glitch. All I was aware of that there must be a glitch, because that's not me. I'm not interested in that sort of thing. So why is it there? It's a glitch. There's no other reason for it. And that's how I dealt with it until it naturally went away. It usually, OCD and HOCD happens or heightens up when there is a stress in life, or when there is some kind of a anxiety of danger or something that is happening in life, trying to take away certain things that you have worked hard for it and so on. You become concerned about it, and that stress could lead into these sort of challenges. Steven says, so I'll go tomorrow for Whole Food. Yeah, let me show you the package of it so you can, it's actually quite healthy, this dandelion, roasted dandelion roots, and not the leaf and the roots. Leaf and the roots I can't drink it. It tastes awful. But this one is like a mixture between somewhere between tea and coffee. It has the body of coffee, a little thick or a little bitter, but it has no caffeine naturally, and it's a tea. So let me just bring the box for you. See, that's what it is. Oh, sorry, that's the French part. Roasted dandelion root. Okay. Now, Yeah, I'm getting actually can feel the stiffness of the neck. That's funny. It's such a beautiful feeling when there's a kind of massage on the neck, and we should be able to do that to ourselves. It's very good. You don't have to hit your head to the weightlifting bar to to massage yourself. You should do that off anyhow. Kandor says, I've watched many of your videos. I really thank you for them. This is my first time on your live. What are your thoughts on sexual orientation being fluid? There's no such fucking thing. This bullshit. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Is that scientific? No, there's no such a fucking scientifically bullshit. There's today everything anybody wants to call it scientific, but there's no such research of fluid. What the fuck does that mean? So today you're a woman, tomorrow you're a man. Today you want to be with a woman, tomorrow. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, what do you mean fluid? I mean, just don't buy into every bullshit that is part of the agenda out there, that they want to take the alpha male away and women and children would have no protection, and then they can just unleash whatever will they want on the society, because the alpha male, they've all turned out to not care for one reason or another. I guess we're not that free to say whatever we want to say in light of whatever the fuck the government wants to say. We're not supposed to challenge it, that's pretty much fucked up to begin with. Steven says, if she was happy and moved on, I don't think she'd reach out like she, of course, but that is not your evidence that she is qualified for you. I don't give a fuck if she's happy or not. I care about my client to be happy, and that's you. So my advice to you is stay away from this bitch. That's all. You can do that. You can still make an appointment with. You can't do that. Fuck off. Don't even make an appointment. And Steven says, "Yeah, I'm looking for a tea." Like, yeah, it was quite interesting. I think I've got maybe 5 or 6. Kind of my speech is a little bit not as as fluent as it used to be. Is it the? I don't think it's because of the hit in the head. It wasn't that hard. But whatever. Kendrada says, wow, you dealt with HOCD as well. How long did you have it? Oh, I happened to me age 63. But to me, they were all images of disgusting images. To me, was disgusting because it was not even for any orientation was disgusting because so you can make an appointment with me on Skype and then we can go in more detail. However, it's not necessarily something that. So these are all images that you have to understand the components of the brain involved in all these interactions, and therefore the knowledge of how the brain works, functions, and malfunctions will always help you to deal with these things. Otherwise, there's nothing mystic about it. There's no thing changing. If we were supposed to change, and how many times are we supposed to change? From now we change to something, and later on we change back to something else, and then later on. So where the fucking stability in life? How do we know what the hell it is? So, and have you ever heard anyone from homosexuality changing to heterosexuality? How come then it's only one way? We change from this to that. Well, we never heard somebody's changing from that to that. But in HOCD, you have to realize that it doesn't have a specific gender. Homosexuals also get HOCD, that they think that they are heterosexual, and that freaks them out. So it is a mental thing, not a sign of anybody changing from one thing to another. You know, in university in Aikido, we learn how to give massage to people for headaches and heal from the pains or the backaches and things like that, because we learned all the nerves and how to extend energy to them. But it's always been difficult to do it ourselves, and I never was able to enjoy the pleasure that I would give to a person who asked me for the massage and helping them with their issues and headache or backache. Mostly my girlfriends, because it could get intimate, and but the other ones will just partly of the back and the front. But it's elaborate massage to know the nerves, and it's amazing feeling because I could see that they fall asleep after I'm done with the complete body, massaging all the nerve centers and extending energy into them with our fingertips. That's why Kiatsu is different than shiatsu or any other massage therapy, because it's not kneading the muscles to break the fibers of the muscles, which becomes a little bit more stiff later on. It's about connecting with the nerve centers and then extending energy through it. That's basically what it does. But it opens up the centers and makes it function better, and then releases the tensions that way. And then the person feels so in tune and tuned up to fall asleep pretty much. It's a great feeling. I never was able to benefit from that, the whole thing, but I have helped many people for their headaches, migraines, backaches, and so on. But it's difficult for me to reach my own back, all these things. Well, okay, guys, it's 43 minutes. We've been here. We have no other question. I would ask you to help to popularize this channel. If you have a particularly favorite video, share it on your social media and help us to be more popular, get to know people, have more exposures, so we can reach more people and help more people. And at the same time, the channel will get exposure and we'll have more subscribers, and we'll get more finances through people trying to appreciate and use the channel and make appointments with me for one-on-one discussion on Skype, which you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. And you can make an appointment with me for our Skype chat, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. The topics could be breakups, emotional hardships, understanding where thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, and ego are playing in this concept, in this happening. And then, of course, we expand it to OCD and OCD subsets and understanding the components of the brain involved in the malfunction of the signaling system of the brain, and understand how the mechanism works and how we can help the brain to rewire itself through neuroplasticity and get back to its default setting. So at this point, I want to thank you all for being here. So I say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself, and to the others, I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
I love you.
I love you. I am crazy about you.
Yeah, me too.
It's so lovely to be together.
Yeah, it sure is nothing better.
You are the best.
You are the best.
Ugh, I can't understand it. How could you have a different mind than I have? How could you not see it the way I see it? I want you to give me more importance. You don't pay attention and entertain me. My life is not as I expected you to make it to be. I can't be with you. You don't make me happy. I don't want you anymore. So what? The guy was just giving me a compliment, And I was not letting him chat me up. It was so innocent.
Hey, why? What did I do? I love you. Everything was fine just yesterday. What gives? What if I chat up other girls just as innocently? You gotta have my head.
We are just so different. Best go on our separate ways. What happened? Why did he leave me? Why was he not understanding me? I feel awful. I will never love again. He didn't try to make me happy. I had to break it off, but I feel so terrible. How can I understand what happened? How can I move on? I miss him. Why am I so conflicted now?
Hey, don't worry, dear. It wasn't meant to be. You will be fine. Just go buy yourself a nice dress and new shoes. You will be fine again. I promise.
Who is that guy? What is he telling them? They all seem to like what they are hearing, as if he has opened their minds about why they feel how they feel.
Oh, he discusses things not so important, like how our mind works and how our thoughts, consciousness, fears, desires, and ego play in relationships and after the breakups. But all you need is to go buy yourself a nice dress and you'll be fine. Oh, he was not understanding you. All you need is a shopping spree in the mall and then take a vacation. It will all be fine.
I got to find out how my mind, thought, and the rest of it works, and why I feel the way I do. I don't want to go shopping. Ah, I see what he means. Ah, I understand. I feel better already. I am ready to feel good again. I am ready to move on, to fix my life, and build better relationships, better future. I am feeling pretty confident. I got to talk to him one-on-one.
Damn, I thought she is the one. Everything was all good. She suddenly turned as if I was no longer who I was anymore. Why did she do that? Why do I feel so devastated? How can I feel better? How can I understand what is going on in my head? How can I go on? I will never fall in love again. There are no good girls anymore. They're all after something. I don't even know what the heck they want.
Have some beer. You will feel all better and forget the whole thing. Here, buy some of my brew and forget about your pain. Everything will be okay. You'll find another girl, go on a trip, take a vacation.
I gotta find out how my mind, thought, and the rest of it works, and why I feel the way I do. I don't want to brew. Ah, things finally make sense. I now understand why she did what she did, and why I feel so shitty about it all, and why I miss her so much. I now know how to not miss her, and how to move on and build a better me, more confident and more aware of the role of my thoughts, consciousness, desires, fears, and ego in my relationship, and how I feel after a breakup. I got to talk to him or watch his videos on YouTube.
It may all seem like a mystery to you right now, but you can always go to my YouTube channel where you will find over 300 videos on this subject and more. You can find out exactly why you feel the way you do and why your thoughts are the way they're reacting and the role of your psyche in all this. Plus, how to feel good again, become strong and get your confidence back and ready to move on. And more importantly, how to move on. And you will certainly be fine once you know how your mind works, dear. If you still needed to talk to me one-on-one, that's always possible through my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. There you can book a Skype consultation time for us and we can chat about what's concerning you. This is what I do with all people who need it from all around the world. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.